Good morning, and what a lovely morning it is too. Nice and bright, sunny, not too warm. It's actually quite cold at the moment. Got a jumper in my bag because he's going to get a bit colder when I stop later on. Off to meet Jay. Got another 20 minutes walk before I get to where I'll be meeting him, and then we're going to do a little bit of filming on basics of bushcraft and basics that we fail at miserably. Come on boy, this way. So here's the deal. We go out quite a lot, and obviously it's nice when you are camping to have a little bit of a fire. We don't do it loads of times. A lot of the time we just use the camping gear, camping gas and stuff like that to cook on, or mess burners. But it is nice to have a real fire occasionally. So probably like yourselves, I watch a lot of these type of videos, and quite often I see people in the middle of nowhere find a little bit of birch bark and scrape it a few times, throw a spark on it, next thing you know, roaring fire, and they're cooking their dinner and all the rest of it. I have never ever managed to light a fire like that. I am the world's worst fire starter, and I think probably a close second is Jay. So we decided we're going to have a little crack today, see if we can actually do that, see if we can actually start a fire using these sort of techniques. Now I'm not going to try rubbing sticks together and all that rubbish. I am going to try using a spark. So I've got my ferro rod and striker with me, but it may just go the way it normally goes, where we end up just pouring some meths on some wood and setting it on fire with a lighter. Ideally I will spot some silver birch. I mean, it's quite a mixed woodland, and I know certainly down on Woodgate properly, but down in the country park there are one or two birch trees. I remember seeing them. So if I can find a bit of that, that'll be a good starting point. If not, some sort of rotted punk wood, again, which there should be plenty lying around. But this is absolutely soaked, so that's going to be no good. But this is basically punk wood. It's just not dry. Water, listen. So I just stopped down at the brook to give the dog some water. Go on, water, drink. What's the bet? He still nicks what's in my cup when I make myself a cup of tea in a bit. Good boy. Just come up to the location now. Jay should already be there. I expect him probably all set up as well. Yes, so as I talked about on the way over, going to have a go at fire lighting again. This is where I'm going to do it. So first thing I'm going to do is just clear a little bit of a spot here. This is going to clear me a little spot here. I'm not having a massive blaze, but I don't want too much loose stuff on the ground, taking the risk of catching light. So there you go. And this is what I'm going to use. So this is the base that I'm going to build the fire on. Just a little cheap thing actually, about 15 quid from Amazon. So it keeps everything off the floor, lets it breathe, and hopefully I might actually get a flame this time. Right, next thing is to go off in search of some tinder and some kindling and a little bit of fuel. Like I say, we're not having a massive blaze, but we'd like to get a flame going for demonstration purposes. Right then, so the first thing we need is something that's going to take a spark. So I'm looking for sort of dry grass that I can rough up into that sort of bird's nest type look. I did look for some silver birch on the way over, couldn't find any. Don't think there's any in this location. So I'm looking to try and get some punk wood or something like that. So let's go see what we can find. So there's lots of little dry wood around, so we don't need to worry about that. What I am looking for though is that sort of dry grass type stuff. So let's go outside of camp, see what we can find. I'm going to go over there. What I want, it's that sort of fluffy tail stuff over there. I'm not sure what it's called. It's like a long dry grass. I'm just going to traipse through these brambles and see if I can grab some of that. That should make good tinder for taking a spark. This is the stuff that I'm after. So I haven't got to go too far. So let's get some of this. That should be enough to get the spark going once I've roughed it up a bit. As I say, I've never done this before, so this is a learning experience for me. Hello mate, come on out the way you. So this is what I'm going to start with. I'm just going to break a few bits off first of all. And I'm just trying to get that sort of really fibrous. Hopefully this will be dry. The punk wood that I looked at earlier was sodden. And this has got to be, there's got to be some quite fine fibres in here for it to take a spark. But I think, because this is pretty dry, I should put the ranges on, never mind. I thoroughly recommend you wear gloves for this bit. I don't know whether you can you see how fibrous that's going right there? It's almost like cotton. That's what I'm hoping should take the spark and start the burn. And then these bigger bits, I'll actually pick up the flame. So I think, particularly that bit there, I think that's prepared now. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go and find some small dry twigs now to feed on top of this, and then a couple of larger ones, so we get a fairly decent. I'm going to try and get some small dry twigs now. It's like, do you remember Buck Rogers? It's like working with that little bitty thing.
What's that like?
Yeah, so go and get some more wood, some fuel wood for this, and then we'll see if we can get this to take a spark. What I have now is I've got my tinder for taking a spark. Then I've got my smaller pieces to help get the flame grow. I've got some small twigs there, but I need to process some more wood really. Even that I think is going to be too big, so I want some sort of this is grass, so that's just going to disappear straight away. But what I'm really looking for is wood that's about this size rather than grass. So I've got some kit to process the wood with me. Last time we tried this, it didn't go so well. So what I've got is my saw for obviously taking the slightly larger logs. I shan't make any comment on Jason's saw this time. I've got my hacking knife, so this is what I use to split the wood rather than carry a big axe around with me. So if I can find a decent log, I'll show you how to split that. And as always, if you're carrying a knife, carry a first aid kit as well. Okay, so a few different bits of wood and tinder. I've got some pine cones, they should go up fairly well. That's a little bit of an old Christmas tree that somebody's thrown in the bushes, so that should burn quite well, but I'm going to try and split that. This is the bit I want to try and show you splitting though. I'm going to split this one to try and get to the dry wood in the middle to sort of take the place of this grass. But splitting wood, you can use an axe. I prefer to use, I don't want to carry an axe around with me, so I use this hacker's knife. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bat on this piece of wood with this piece of wood. So I find myself a bit there, and then I'm going to use this piece of wood, and this is why I use this particular knife, because it's absolutely designed. I think we're going to have the same problem we had last time, mate. To take a battering along the spine. I'm hitting lots of all sorts. It's a bit of split, but this is this wood's rotten. But for what I want to do with this wood, which is burn it, it will be fine. That's those bits. Let's see if we can split this little bit of a pine tree and get some nice thin slithers. You haven't seen anybody split wood like that before, have you? This is better. Actually feels a bit damp. But it should, if it's dry, do this. See, I told you. Yeah. As soon as I put the water in my cup, he wanted it, and he would not drink down the river, would he? Lister, do you want some more water, mate, before I bin this one off? Yeah. No? Needs back up, mate. You'll be over here. You are just a big camera hog, ain't you? Right. You've got more followers than I will. Come on, over the way. Yeah. Over there. Do you want to just pause it for a second? I did rinse the mug. We'll let that do its thing. So we've done most of the prep now. What I'll do is just move a few things off the side so that we can see if we can get this little tinder bundle lit. So just move these off there. The nice thing about this platform is it keeps everything off the ground as well, so you're not leaching heat. Now we've definitely been here before and then immediately doubted it by putting wet wood on it. Come on, please stay lit. It doesn't know where this is going. Just going to give that a chance to yeah. Well, if that stays lit, that's a success. That's a first. That's actually going quite well now. So I'm happy that I can throw a few more bits on here. I was a bit worried that some of this wood might have still been a bit damp, and I think it is. But now that there's a decent flame going there, it should hold that quite well. I don't think I'm going to put anything bigger on there. I think that's probably enough for demonstration purposes. I'll let that burn out. You have a nice little warm cup of tea. It's going to be almost done. Cup of coffee. Well, I've got to admit, I'm quite pleased with that. That actually caught fire, which was the aim of the game. But it just goes to show really that if you actually do it properly, I think in the past I've never really thought about roughing up the tinder to get that little like fibrous thing, and then not really paid that much attention to the different grades of wood and you know, cutting that down and all the rest of it. So I suppose really, you know, you're asking to fail if you don't do it right, and this just goes to show that if you just take a little bit of time, pick a nice dry sunny day instead of a day that all the snow melted, it's actually, yeah, it's quite easily doable. I'm chuffed to bits with that. I can actually I actually feel like I can put bushcraft into the title of the into the keywords for the channel now. Yeah, really pleased with that.
You recorded?
You can do it, camera.
Ooh, behind the scenes.
I thought it's your job to do it.
No, it's your job.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Out and About Extra. This is the special shot that you only see on ITV2 after we finish the main show.
Go on. You're going to earn your keep.
We are on the hunt for. We need a way for you to get this footage to me afterwards as well. So
that's
that
all.
I'm now on the hunt for kindling. So I mean, there's plenty of little bits of dry stick around to use. But I want to try and get this off a spar.
Okay. For ferro.
Yeah. Where's my anchor then? There it is. Watching me, watching you.
You've run out of battery?
It's not. Just to touch the screen.
Oh.
Mine doesn't stay on all the time.
You can set it so it...
I know.
Okay. I've set mine so that it just dims now rather than switches off.
Tell you what I bought.
got one. You've got to have one if you've got more than one battery, really, ain't you?
But are yours charged?
Yeah, I never mind.
I did forget to bring my husband.
Right then, so the first thing we need is something that's going to take a spark. So I'm looking for sort of dry grass that I can rough up into that sort of bird's nest type look. I did look for some silver birch on the way over, couldn't find any. Don't think there's any in this location. So I'm looking to try and get some punk wood or something like that. So let's go see what we can find.
I still don't know why I'm recording.
You are?
I still don't know why I'm
Extra
recording.
angles, so you can cut it in.
Yeah.
Looks better when there's multiple angles.
It does, I mean, by all means you can take a wander around, but just, you know, keep it pointing at us.
Yeah.
What are you filming at? 5K, 4K or 2K or what?
I couldn't tell you. Just record.
You've got
I
20%.
can't see. Battery life.
Yeah.
Well, I've got more batteries, don't worry.
Hey, do you want to see what I've got?
Ah,
You're on 20%, you're filming...
4K.
No, 1.4 wide, so it's 1080p, but you're in wide. See? Up here for thinking. Down there. Fancy.
We'd have been screwed without them when we went to the panic room.
Yeah, none of us could see anything.
Three of us and not one of us could see what the bloody thing was.
Right then. So, we've got a little dry wood around, so we don't need to
Don't
leave
follow
that.
us, move around.
What I do am looking for though is that
What?
sort of dry grass type stuff.
Like this. I need to keep him in shot.
It's like a long dry grass. I'm just going to take some of these grab some of that. That should make it a good tip for taking a spark.